Hello everybody, Tim Crane here. Today I'm going to talk about a deal that I found on Facebook. I found this deal on one of the little swap pages on Facebook. These little pages are like where people post stuff for sale, shoes or shirts or campers or guns or whatever, video games. They sell all kind of stuff on here. And so I belong to a lot of the little ones in my area. A lot of the local ones here in my area I belong to. And so when I get a property for sale, of course I post it in all of these little places here. But the property that I'm advertising in there is usually an owner finance type deal. And so that's a great place to find owner finance prospects are in these little pages. But if you're trying to sell a house by strictly just putting it on Facebook on one swap page, one or two, you're not really doing yourself justice because Facebook doesn't syndicate the listing out to all the other websites like Trulia and Zillow and all that. So some people, here's what ends up happening. Some people end up getting on Facebook and they don't really know how to work a computer very good. But as they start to play with it a little bit more, they become familiar with it. And they play on Facebook. And so they become familiar with Facebook. And then they learn how to upload pictures and posts. And now they start listing stuff for sale. And so when they have a house for sale, they'll post it on there. But it's not really getting that much advertisement by putting it on there. And so they try for a while and they start to get frustrated. Well, that's what happened with this lady, this seller. She was kind of frustrated. They tried to sell it a couple times. They had rented it. They didn't have very much luck. And so I went out and looked at, I saw it for sale. She wanted 20 grand, 4 bedroom, 1 bath on 2.8 acres. To me, it sounded like a no-brainer. Here's the picture of the house. Some of the pictures. I thought it looked good, had a good roof on it, a carport. I mean, it wasn't anything fancy. The bedrooms weren't all that, but it was a nice little house on 2.8 acres. So what I did was I went out, told her, hey, would you be interested? I said, yeah, I'll go out and look at it. And so I ran out and looked at it. I went out there and checked it out and came back and ended up offering her 16 grand for it. And she took the offer. I closed on it and I borrowed the money from the bank. So I went in and I went to the bank and I put down 20%, which was like $3,200, I believe, something like that. And we borrowed 12.8, borrowed it at 6.5% for 5 years. Our payment to the bank is $250 a month for 5 years. I sold the house to someone for $46,900. They purchased it. They gave me 2 grand down. I held the balance at 10% for 30 years. They pay $394 a month for 30 years. Our payment to the bank's $250 for 5 years. Their payment's $394 for 30 years to us. And so when we got this property, I thought it was a pretty good deal. The one thing that caught me on this property, which it never done, but it never happened to me before, but I just assumed the house had a septic tank, and it didn't have a septic tank. And I didn't find out until the day of closing that it didn't have a septic tank. And so luckily I knew a guy who does septic tanks, so I called him up, and it was the winter time and the ground was still cold, and they won't let you put in a septic tank during that time frame. It has to be the growing season, they call it. And so I went down to the county and I paid $500 to have an application for the septic tank. They came out, inspected it, gave me the okay. The guy charged me $1,950 to put a septic tank in and all the field line and everything. And so it was about $2,500. $2,450 is about what it ended up costing me. Which was a surprise, but because the deal had so much in it, so much equity there, that it was still worth it. And so the $16,000 that I paid was really $18,500, but I still sold the house for $46,900. And so here's our payment. $250 a month for 5 years. We end up paying 15 grand. Their payment is $394 a month for 30 years. They end up paying $141,000. So we end up making about $125,000 on this deal, that's really a pretty good deal. I mean, to me, I'll take 125 grand all day long. Thank you guys. Keep watching my videos. Bye.